Welcome to the second episode of The Ink Explains. This is Puranja Chawla from the Free Ink. You wouldn't have seen me as of yet. I am the one who has been working behind the scenes in front of the computer. Um, you would have seen Tanush Sahani, who presented the video on the US presidential elections and why are they of great importance to India. I know that it's Corona talk everywhere. Um, but today we'll not be talking about Corona. Videos on Corona would be coming up very soon. Some very interesting studies have come up, but we would be talking about something else today, which is also very important to India and very relevant. Um, it is of great geostrategic importance. It is of great foreign policy relevance, and it is related to the defense export market. So, to start with the video, the defense export industry of India, I would like to give you a few quick pointers. So, we all know that India is the world's largest weapons importer. So, just to put it into perspective, out of all the arms exports in the world, all the weapons exports, including every gear such as parachutes, every military equipment, India imports about 12% of all military equipment in the world which is exported. 12%, that is a lot of arms. Indian defense exports are not that high up, especially if you compare them with the United States or Russia. But we are growing at a very steady and very good pace, I would say. So, Indian defense exports for 2018-19 was about rupees 500 crore. That is about 1.47 billion US dollars. That is not less, especially when you compare it uh, from the earlier amounts. From about the start of 2015, our defense exports were about 357 million US dollars. So now they are almost twice that amount, uh, more than twice actually. So if we see, India has lately grown a lot in the defense export market. One big reason for that is the defense production policy of 2018. Uh, if you guys remember, during the time of mid 2018, July or August, the government introduced this policy and they have been taking it very seriously. India aims to be one of the five largest exporters of weapons in the world. That is a big aim. Um so if you see, India has acquired a couple of big contracts. The biggest, I would say, has been the export of artillery shells to the UAE. We exported about 40,000 artillery shells, 155 mm, to the UAE. They have ordered for 50,000 more. This deal was for about 322 crore rupees. That is a lot of money. And that is a very sizable deal, at least for the Indian defense market. Um, so if we see, so you would ask the question, why am I suddenly bringing up the defense export market? This is because a month earlier, India signed a deal with Armenia to export the Swati weapon locating radar. So this was built by the DRDO, the BEL, that is the Bharat Electronics Limited, and some specialized corps of the Indian Army who are digitally, who work in the digital space, I would say. So essentially, the role of this radar is that if the enemy fires at you, this radar locates where from where the enemy has fired at you so that you can retaliate. This is very sophisticated technology. I would like to take you should take this into account while studying any deal, that what is the level of technology. If you are just exporting, say, handguns or assault rifles or even sniper rifles, yes, they require a lot of research and development, they require time to be perfected, but as compared to very sophisticated technology as radars, it is not that difficult to manufacture as compared to this. Please don't take it in the wrong manner. But yes, anyways, continuing. So this deal was worth about 40 million US dollars. That is a very sizable amount, especially for the Indian industry. And here comes the most important point, according to me, is that when you take a look at the contenders in this deal, it was India, Russia, and Poland. Russia is one of the oldest defense exporters. It has been around for ages. Most of India's weapons are Russian. They are very experienced in almost all spheres. It could be radars, it could be aircrafts, submarines, you name it, they produce it. So if you see, we essentially won this deal over Russia, who has been manufacturing and exporting radars for about 8 to 9 decades now. That is a very big thing. Now, this, what we talked about, was in regards to the growth of the Indian defense exports. But now I would like to move on to the more important issue, at least according to me. India did not just contend in this deal or sign this deal because it wanted to grow its market. That is one of the biggest reasons. But the bigger reason, if you see, is that Armenia, it is located just beside Turkey. Now, what does that mean? Armenia and Turkey do not have a very good relationship. I would like to give you a quick history lesson. Armenia was a part of the Ottoman Empire in the 1920s, in the 1910s, early 1900s, you could say. So the demographic of Armenia is predominantly Christian. It's a Christian majority, whereas Turkey is a Muslim majority. So in the 1920s, this is very well recorded that Turkey carried out a very big genocide of the Armenian Christians, and the bitterness in their relationship still exists, and both of them don't like each other. They are salty neighbors. And India doesn't like Turkey, and Turkey doesn't like India. The reasons are not very clear, but Turkey has always been supportive of Pakistan. They are fellow Muslim states. The Muslim world has a lot of unity. They have their flaws, they have their skirmishes once in a while, but the Muslim world as a whole, all the Muslim nations, all the Islamic nations are very united. So if you see, lately the relationship between Turkey and India has deteriorated further. especially after the coming of the Modi government. Turkey has always openly criticized India. Recently, when the Delhi riots happened, the Turkish president, the prime minister, even their foreign minister released a series of tweets which were very against India. They were never in the favor of the abrogation of Article 370 and 35A. And this goes back in time. So, according to me, India invested or contended in this deal because it wanted to deliver a message to Turkey in an indirect manner. India would never, ever, not in the current situation at least, say anything against Turkey in a direct manner. There are a few reasons for that. One, but the biggest reason for that is that Turkey is part of the NATO alliance. It is a member state of the NATO. India and US have a very good relationship right now. So India wouldn't want to upset any of the countries in the NATO or US directly. So that is point one, why India would never directly confront Turkey. Point two is that India right now has good relationships with country in the Muslim world as well. India has a good relationship with the oil exporting giants. India has a good relationship with all the oil exporting giants except one. But if you take that into account, India would not want to upset other countries, so it indirectly tried to deliver a message to Turkey. And I think this is one of the biggest reasons that India contended in this deal. Now, if we see, this deal has two sides. One, it is hugely beneficial for the Indian defense export market. And second, it is of great geostrategic and overall it is of great importance to India in its foreign policy terms. We would meet you soon. I know you guys are waiting for an episode on the coronavirus. We would deliver it very soon. Till then, stay safe, wash your hands, apply sanitizers, and we would see you in the next episode of the Ink Explains. Thank you for watching this video.